Hey, what is up, everyone? Hope you are doing well. Welcome to Let's Talk. Hope everyone's having a great day and that things are good. Oh, man, chat's already popping. I see fun speculation. What's up, Mav? Good to see you, buddy. Clint Coombs in the house, dropping the double down love, dropping the emotes in there. I love it. Let's see. Nisa Hauer in here and lurking. Good to see you. X Bacon Gaming in the house, and of course Rick Davis. Hope you guys are all doing well, having a good week. Ooh, AC just turned off. Turn that back on. It's hot up here. There we go. Hope everyone's having a good week. Happy Tuesday. I wrapped up school today, so I am now on summer break. What's up, T? Is it TJ? TJI? Good to see you. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Man, y'all, I wrapped up school today. All done for the summer. Pretty glad to have that. I've kind of been done, but like you got to get through some of those last minute things. And then now I'm in like prep phase. I was gonna finish my review for the Turtle Beaches. I've written it. I just haven't filmed it. But honestly, like I'm ready to get into summer game fest mode. I'm ready to get popping with the LA trip. I got to do my laundry and all the like the logistics, but man, I'm excited. I'm excited. Flying down to LA on Thursday evening. It looks like there's a creators dinner with a couple people. Probably not a couple people, probably a lot of people. Jez is putting it together. I'm excited about that. Should be fun. Hey, Harjeet in the house. What's up, Harjeet? Good to see you, buddy. Thank you. I saw your note. I don't have WhatsApp, but I'm gonna get it. And Ains was keeping me updated there, so that's gonna be fun. Adidotune, what's up, Adidotune? Good to see you, buddy. But yeah, man, I'll tell you what, guys, I was kind of even mentally shutting down yesterday from work and for summer break and getting into like, all right, content creation mode. But then I just started playing games, and like I've not wanted to play games the last week or so. I've wanted to chill and not worry about things, and just it's been more like watching TV and playing mobile stuff. Even xCloud on my phone. I play a lot of xCloud on my phone. But I will tell you what. Hey, what's up, Nerd Chat? Good to see you. But I will tell you guys, last night I jumped back into 2 games and it like awoke the beast. And now I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I need. The right amount of stress in games, right about relaxing games. I played the Crew Motorfest again, which I love that game. That game is great. It's just Forza Horizon 6, basically. And that game is just a blast. So I'm playing Crew Motorfest, jumping back into that. And then I'd taken a hiatus from Street Fighter 6 and jumped back into Street Fighter 6 since they added Akuma, who was my main during Street Fighter 4. And oh, it's back, baby. It feels good. It feels good. They're doing some sales for the egregious monetization that Street Fighter has, and yeah, I'm feeling good, guys. It's nice because I've missed Street Fighter, and so I'm there for it. I am there for it. Nerd Chat saying it's nice to catch up on media when you hit summer, dude. I saw you were doing the same thing. You had, let's see, what were you? You finished up graduation, and you were kind of just doing media yourself. What were you playing, Jose? What were you playing? That is definitely going to be a portion of today. I'm going to definitely be talking about what I'm playing. That's just, I know there's a lot of like showcases, but I just want to chill and hang out with you guys. So I'm here to talk about that too. Rick Davis, let's put this up here on the mic here. It says, not a popular opinion, but it has to be better than Forza Horizon 5. I absolutely hated that entry. Yeah, not a popular opinion. I loved Forza Horizon 5. I honestly don't think there's been a bad Forza Horizon game. I think 3 was my peak, but I loved 4, really loved 5. But I will tell you, I'm loving Motorfest as well. And I would say Motorfest is on par with the best of Forza Horizon. So there you go there. Harjeet, so cool to have you in my chat, man. I always see you and everybody else's. I see you on all the shows. I see you in all these great panels. So it's really cool to see you in my chat today. Thank you for being here, buddy. I really appreciate it. I'm honored. Nerd Chat says he's playing Tsushima finally and COD. Now, Ghost of Tsushima, are you playing it on PC or are you playing it on console? Because isn't it out on PC now? I don't know. Motorfest is great fun. Rick Davis says about Forza Horizon 5, I hated 5 and didn't like 1 at all, but I love 2, 3, and 4. I don't ever see Forza Horizon 5 hate, so I'm surprised. But glad that you are enjoying Motorfest because that game is so good. So let's see. Jose is playing he's playing Ghost of Tsushima on PC, and X Bacon Gaming agreeing with him. PC's the way to go. One of the things I like about the Nerd Chat guys, and I will tell you to follow them in chat there. If you're watching and if you're on VOD and you can see them kind of in the live chat scrolling. Nerd Chat is a great podcast, really fun, really relaxed guys. Daddy D Wally, Jose, X Bacon Gaming. Jose goes by Chipotle Bear. And it's just a good time hearing people talk. Sometimes Matt Kennedy's on there. Sometimes Zenkai Goose, one of the high-profile Canadian creators, is on there. But they're just good times. They love games in all forms, which if you're here at XEP, you probably love games in all forms as well. But Bacon is their PC champion. Talks a lot about them going to PC. So I strongly recommend giving them a look. And if you're in the PC space, or really if you like getting trophies and now you can do that on PlayStation games on PC, or if you like getting achievements and you can do that on Xbox, but also on PC, like go for it. I'm a console guy through and through. I've got a decent PC. Ainsley Bowden's the old one. Ainsley's like my big brother. I'm not even gonna lie. Like it's he didn't adopt that moniker, by the way. I just gave it to him, and he's probably just reluctantly like, whatever. I'll grow hair, I guess. But I use his old PC. He sold it to me so I could basically take this show live, which we never had the money to do. So it was like, oh, sweet, here we are. Let's see. Much appreciated. Love hearing you and Logan, one of the best podcasts out there. That is really kind of you to say. Logan, of course, I don't think Logan's in the chat, but Logan going through it lately, and it's interesting and neat to watch him working his way through his struggles, and just trying to be there for him, trying to be there for him. Rick Davis says he hasn't played Motorfest, but he kind of wants to. Real talk, Rick, I am sure that game is going to be on sale, like over at any point. It might even be on sale like right now. Not a bad pickup. If you like Forza Horizon, that formula, do it. Do it. I did find that it defaulted to HDR off, and I had to tweak that a little bit, but in tweaking it to HDR on, I'm digging it. All right, I messed around with some of the settings, and I really enjoyed it. Rick Davis says, Logan unfriended me today because he has bad taste in old movies. Rick, I think you're just very contentious with your opinions. Like you're so steadfast, like black and white. I like this. I don't like this. Maybe that's what it is. But I think Logan's also reawakening his goth phase, and so that's a factor, right? Yeah, 50% off is, dude, you will be so happy if you get a 50% off. That's a great game. Motorfest, absolutely a win. A win. Yeah, I'm curious. Clint asking what old movies. I gotta know. Rick says he's been playing Wolong, Stellar Blade, and a big update for SnowRunner today. Season 13 DLC added. Let's go. So I'll probably jump into that really in between things right now. Totally get that. Like that in between phase. But I will say, as a live service guy, I think that's maybe why I jumped into Motorfest and Street Fighter, because I was like, my live services just bombarded me all at once, because Smite 2 beta, which I really enjoy, but I have no skill in. I'm going to have to learn that from my buddy Kev. Smite 2 beta, new season of Fortnite, new season of COD, Diablo's new season, which I'm enjoying. Like, I'm enjoying Diablo a lot, but I need to, that's like a sit down and go. Killer Clowns just came out. Shout out to Miles Dompierre for joining me. I am going to have actual developers from Killer Clowns on XEP, but the timing with Summer Game Fest and travel, it just didn't happen. So I'm sorry about that, guys. And I'll also say Web Day was going to be on today's show, but had something going on with his license plate. He's at the license plate DMV office, so I do not envy him. But it sounds like that's where he is. It's kind of a bummer. Silking it in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. You're finishing Elden Ring prep. Yeah, Shadow of the Erdtree is soon, right? Should be real soon. I'm seeing a lot of things on my socials pop up. Can I tell you, I have thought about going back to Elden Ring, because I put 170 hours into Elden Ring, and that's not my kind of game. But I had said to myself, man, I'm not going back. Like, I loved my experience with it, but I'm done. I don't want to play Shadow of the Erdtree. Really, because I don't enjoy the gatekeeping that can come with those games. But Erdtree looks cool, and those pictures look good. So I'm like, maybe I should. So we'll see. We'll see. It's Bacon. Honestly, this will sound very hoity-toity, but stick with me. I just got the DLC in Gigabash because that's a game I love. I just put some money into my mobile game. I just snagged the Black Cell in COD, new season of Fortnite. Like I'm dumping monies into some of these games. It's like now I need to put time into them, you know? So do I want to go buy an expansion? Even though I'm getting my money's worth, knowing full well that that might not be my summer game. Now, if it clicks, or if I suddenly get the urge and I dive in, then that's my summer game, right? I'm sure Nerd Chat Jose can tell you that, like, when you've got time, if it clicks, like, you're all in on those summer times. So like that might be it, but I don't think that's what it's going to be. Brendan Myers said, were you able to see my comments in Twitter? No, StreamYard doesn't pull comments in from Twitter. And then a second one, he says, rip Mixer. Oh man. Oh yeah. God, Mixer was this fun experiment for me, where I started this idea of streaming, but man, whew. Mixer.com/insipidghost. That was the classic line, right? That was the classic line. I did pretty well on Mixer. I got up to a couple hundred followers and was streaming regularly, but I found, and I have learned, guys, that I do not enjoy streaming games. I like talking to you. I like that. I like talking to people on podcasts and such, but I do not like streaming while playing games. It throws me off. Harjeet and Mav both in here. It's dope. If you guys want to join, I'll send you a StreamYard link if you guys want to join, because Web Dave was gonna be here for sure. I just kind of just shoot the shit with everybody, just hanging out. Silkenit says, I spent so much time on Mixer. I was a mod in a lot of channels. Silkenit, that is dope, man. That is dope. I thoroughly enjoyed just Mixer in general. I was getting to the point where, like, that's how I interacted with Stein, which was fun. I see you, Mav. Let me give me like 3 minutes, okay? Give me 3 minutes to chill with the chat, and then I got you, buddy. Brendan Meyer says, have you tried Star Wars Hunters today? No, I don't think I even pre-registered. But here's why. And you tell me if I'm crazy, because if I'm crazy, then I will clip my backbone to it and I'll have a go. I gotta find Mav in Discord. Mav, where are you? Oh, I can send it to you on Twitter. Duh. So I play Godzilla Battle Lines pretty regularly right now, and then DC Villains and Heroes, which is like a match 3 game, and Battle Lines is just a fun like strategy game. I put money into those, and then I play COD Mobile, but COD Mobile does like melt the phone, even though I have a Pixel 8 Pro. So is it good? You said, well, work is requiring you to play Star Wars Hunters. Where do you work, Brendan? What are you doing there, Winter Gamer? Did something change? Did something I don't know? Maybe I'm out of the loop. I sent you a link there, Mab. Take your time, buddy. Don't rush. COD Mobile crushes my iPhone battery. Yeah, COD Mobile is so good. It is so good. Like, the gameplay is top notch. I play with a controller, a backbone. Oh, I can see your X comment, Coach. I just didn't see Brendan's. Interesting. I wonder if that's a login thing. But COD Mobile, for all its issues, is it's a hog on resources. It makes it hot, and it makes it like it overheats and it burns the battery. So take that for what you will. Brendan says work is requiring you to fix machines. That stinks, man. So should I stay off? Brandon Myers got to go. I wonder if I should stay off and just wait. But I do love COD Mobile, right? And I'm on this plane. I got a good 5-hour flight. I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. I don't know, like, if I'm gonna read or put my headphones on or what. I don't know what I'm gonna do there. Harjeet says, send link in Discord. Can do, buddy. Can do. I'll get you in here. Oh man. Whoops, that's not right. Keep your questions coming, guys. It's just chatting today. I saw somebody saying, and Clint, maybe it was you, saying there were Square rumors. What were the Square rumors? What was that? Drink and pass out. I don't drink. You know that, Logan. I'm not a drinker. I'm really not cool. Like, the one thing I'm nervous about with going to LA is everybody seeing how not cool I am. Like, such a goofball. Like, I wear earplugs in crowded rooms. I get nervous around crowds. So, like, I am a little concerned. Oh, the rumor is Final Fantasy IX remake. Gotcha. I'm gonna bring in Hargeet Chani here. What's up, Hargeet? Filling in for Web Dave. Good to see you. You're muted, buddy. You're muted.
Yep, there we go. How's it going?
Yeah, it goes well, man. Good, goes well.
Excited?
I'm excited. I'm nervous. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time for sure. Yeah, I forgot I gotta put channel members over here. We got a question already, and this one comes from Nerd Chat. He says, "What are our top 3 things you're excited about for LA?" I'll answer this, and then Harjeet, I want you to answer too, because you're gonna be there, right? Yeah. Okay. So I will say that I am excited to see Ainsley Bowden in person. That's probably my number one. Like to see Ainsley, and then, but I guess the idea is like meet people in our space, which is cool. I'm excited to meet some of the Xbox people because I know they maneuvered some pieces on a board so that I could go, which was kind of neat. I felt very special and honored in that, particularly because XEP is a pretty small show by comparison to, I don't know, Skill Up or some of the million follower people. And then in general, this time I've only been once before. I'm going to make sure I take breaks and go back to the hotel and decompress so that I can process the moments and enjoy it, because that's how I operate. I need that. Harjeet, man, how about you, man? What are you excited about LA?
Well, the same. I want to meet up with everybody again. I've done that a couple of years now in a row, and it is great to meet up with the community folks. So we'll have quite a few there this time. And yeah, we usually just hang out and we'll all do like lunch, dinner, all that stuff together. So there's gonna be like 15 something plus of us. So yeah, we'll be doing that. Look, I'm excited for the showcase. Like, I don't know if Summer Game Fest will be good or not. It's apparently it's all kind of stuff we already know about, just updates, right? That's fine. I think last year was pretty similar. There wasn't a lot of new stuff, but that's fine, right? So it could still be a solid show. I don't know if you're going to that one as well. I assume that's why you're going on Thursday, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we got that, and then we'll see what Xbox brings, right? And the big thing I'm looking for is for them to bring sort of the energy, right? Like we just had the state of play. It was not so great. It was okay, right?
It was okay. I think it was a good state of play, but it was a state of play, and it existing next to all these like showcases and E3 time. Yeah. That's why it disappoints.
Yeah, and Xbox has a chance. This year's kind of been left open, right? There's really not much going on the PlayStation side. There's not much going on the Nintendo side, because Nintendo decided to go to next year for their new launch, right? So it's really an Xbox year, and they can take the runway and go with it, or like they usually do, they take 2 steps forward and then take 20 steps back by hitting themselves in the head with a rake. So we'll see what they do, right? I'm still excited. Hopefully it's all good, right? If I see a PlayStation logo, oh my god. But yeah. So that's good. So, and I want to see Call of Duty everywhere. I want to see sort of like taking the Call of Duty marketing, take advantage of that now that they have that kind of budget, and plaster Game Pass everywhere, right? Just make sure that people
want to see that Game Pass is. You want to see that at the Xbox showcase.
So Xbox has a specific segment for Call of Duty, right? And I want to see them say, part of that, hey, we're dropping all of Call of Duty in Game Pass. Here it is, right? And you want to play any Call of Duty, subscribe to Game Pass, you get them all, right? That kind of thing needs to be in the Call of Duty segment, because that is what people in the Call of Duty world will actually go to. They might not watch the entire Xbox showcase, but the Call of Duty segment they probably will, just to check out what's going on, right? And that's where you get that advertising. And then everywhere you see advertising for Call of Duty, I want to see like Call of Duty Game Pass, Call of Duty Game Pass, right? Just take advantage. You have this now; it's yours, right? It's time to market Game Pass the way it should be. Get it out to the masses, right? See if people get resonate with it. But look, the excitement's there. It's up to them to take advantage of it. The rest of the stuff has been kind of right. So, and the year so far hasn't had like a Hogwarts come out that's kind of taken over, right? So it really is like, it's your chance, shine, right? Bring the games. I think the most exciting things are like indie Call of Duty, right? There's the other games from them, right? But really, like what are we looking forward to from the other two? Well, we don't have anything really. Third party wise, it's okay. There's some stuff coming, but again, it's not really like the year's kind of open, and they have the more exciting stuff. So it's really up to them to take advantage of it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to being in the showcase, talking to the Xbox folks, talking to all of you guys. Mav, you're not coming.
Yeah, I know.
Mav from Fun Speculation. What's up, man? How you doing, buddy?
Not doing bad, man. Just hanging out. I've been working here and saw you going live. So, It's cool to hang out. Got Hargeet here. As
Yeah.
well. It's absolutely awesome, man. I'm pumped right now for showcase season. I won't be there like you guys, right? But
you'll be with us in spirit, though.
yes,
You'll be with us in spirit.
In a way, though, it's kind of like, all right, do you go somewhere to watch the Super Bowl, or do you like stay at home and then really focus and pay attention? Like I always have really enjoyed this whole season anyway, because you get to watch all these shows, have all these game reveals, and it's all right there then and there. So that's the silver lining with it, right? And plus we get to do all the co-streams and stuff like that with the community. So dude, I'm pumped, man. Like this time of year is like, it's always been kind of like gamer Christmas, in a way. Like you just get, if you like game announcements, if you like game, like updated trailers, release dates, and finding out when you get to play all this stuff, this is no better time. And I know a lot of people miss E3, right? And they talk about it, but for me, the spirit of that is still here. Like as far as being a gamer, and just looking forward to all this stuff, because it's like 4 days in a row we get showcases still.
Right.
So yeah, I'm pumped. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, there's stuff. There's actually stuff going on right now. Like,
what was the one today? There was something OTK or something.
Something like that. I never heard of it.
OTK showcase, something like that.
Well,
seems like it's more indie developer focused, right?
Apparently, it was like 3 hours long too. So definitely something to break down. But Coach Hulk asks us, "What's the biggest thing you want out of the weekend? If you pick one thing out of the weekend that you want, it can be a game announcement, it can be a game, it can be a moment in time. Like, what's the one thing that you guys want to see?"
Mav, go.
Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell. Okay.
I mean, that's just the answer every year, right? For a decade, it seems like.
Did Mav freeze on us? I think Mav froze on us. I thought he was just doing a dramatic pause where he was going to talk about
Am I here?
Oh, did you come back? You're back.
He's back. He's here. There he is.
I don't know what happened. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Splinter Cell's the answer like every year for me, right? But it seems like legitimately this year has the best chance we've ever had in a long time. The game was announced technically 3 years ago that they were doing a remake on the Ubisoft blog post. It's a weird way to announce a Splinter Cell game, but anyway, I been super excited for that ever since. And there's some buzz among the Splinter Cell community and stuff that it's possible it might show up at the Ubisoft Forward show. And if that happens, it's also a possibility it could show up at the Xbox show or Summer Game Fest or anything. So I'll be keeping my eyes open and just in the back of my mind, just crossing my fingers to hope to see the return. Because it's like my second favorite franchise. There's Halo and Splinter Cell. We've been without one. We've been without Splinter Cell they skipped an entire generation. And here we are 4 years into this generation and still nothing. Right. So it's got to come back. It's got to come back strong. And that'll make the entire showcase season for me. I don't need anything else. But if we get that, I'll be super happy. However, it can't be looking like no Splinter or Silent Hill 2 remake. Okay. Like if it comes out and it looks like
a little half-baked
effort, that's the effort they put into it, I will be disappointed. Like you don't treat Splinter Cell that way. But I have faith in Ubisoft. Ubisoft doesn't usually put out like low quality type stuff like that, right? So that's what I'm looking forward to, man. Can't wait.
I see. First of all, shout out to Gogo Po, Lethal Migraine, and a few others popping in. Big Mad Mo in the house. Mo, it's always good to see you, bud. Lethal Migraine, I think, has a question, but like the way it's framed, it sounds hostile. Why do a certain group of gamers have such a weird obsession with Splinter Cell? If you want a stealth game, play Hitman. It's better anyway. So let me address that real quick. If you want to play a shooting game, why not play Call of Duty? Well, why not play Halo? Why not play Battlefield? Why not? Sometimes having more experience is better, and seeing competition in spaces is a good thing. And Splinter Cell, that holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts because it was Splinter Cell and Ghost Recon that helped transition people through the original Xbox and PlayStation into the 360 era, which if you're on an Xbox show, likely has some good connections there. Splinter Cell is legendary. And we've been, as a Splinter Cell community, been teased at a comeback for a long time. There was an XO event, or maybe it was an Inside Xbox, where Michael Ironside was on the Inside Xbox talking about how he's the voice of Sam Fisher. He is Splinter Cell. And then nothing, crickets, frustration. And so I think characters matter to people, and that's why. So it doesn't matter that there's a better game in the genre or a different game in the genre. There's something special about those 3 green lights popping up on there, and there's something special about that brand to people. I mean, Star Wars is special to me, but there are other sci-fi adventures out there. No, it's
and the multiplayer too, like the Spies versus Mercs for a lot of people was kind of like the best asymmetrical multiplayer experience out there. Like we had suffered in the era of really horrible servers when we were playing it, right? And we've never gotten a good Spies versus Mercs mode in the era where we actually have consistent good online matchmaking and like good servers where there's not tons of lag and all that kind of stuff all the time. So for me, I've always been like, can they bring that experience that we had way back then to like the new audience? I think it would take off, and I think it could be really successful. But for some reason, Ubisofts, and they always think about other things first, about microtransactions, monetization, and making all the games franchises kind of similar. And they were doing that for a long time, but they've kind of recent years gotten more into the line of we're going to have different experiences again, right? We're gonna branch out and cater to the different kinds of audiences that we have, and they brought different kinds of like Assassin's Creed games now, so they're going 2 different directions there. You have games like the Prince of Persia platformers and that are coming out, as well as they keep working on the traditional big games. There's even talk about the new Far Cry is going to be potentially different as well. So I'm gonna keep my eyes open and see what it is when they do reveal it. But everything that they said about Splinter Cell so far, like on their original blog post, and also they had a like anniversary Splinter Cell stream where they talked about a little bit about the direction and stuff. And everything they're saying so far is the right things. Talking about keeping the essence of what the game's all about alive and bringing it to a new audience, but like still making it that one thing that made it different was it was like it didn't hold your hand. It was hard, like you have to be stealthy. You have if you got detected or something, it was not easy just to run through and rampage through the level like a lot of stealth games. So they're trying to bring that whole spirit of the original Splinter Cells, dude. So if they actually fulfill their promises and deliver on it, I'll be super happy. But this could be the year.
Fair.
Now that's kind of interesting. Oh, sorry that you pointed that out about the like fail on the stealth, because now like every stealth game, I'm always like, oh, they detected me, even though you can 100% keep playing the game and keep going in that mode. Like, no, I gotta reset. I got
for sure,
all the way through without getting detected.
You get detected, and it's like, okay, just let me whip out the machine gun, and you just start mowing down people. Like, now in most games,
I can't cheat that way. I got to do this all stealth.
And Splinter Cell is brutal, but like even in like Conviction, if you play Conviction now, if you do like the levels, where you go through and you could do like the co-op missions and stuff, but you go through there and like it's brutal if you get detected, man. Like you start running for your life and trying to get away and escape, and it's just different.
Big Mad Mo is saying his one thing is State of Decay or Gears of War 6. Open with State of Decay, see Gears in the middle, and then Perfect Dark is to close. I don't know that I like that format, because I don't think State of Decay, I don't think Perfect Dark is ready, if I'm being honest. But we'll see for sure. Harji, what's your one thing that you want to see?
Yeah, so if this can be pie in the sky, I guess the one thing, like, if it's game or one thing I definitely want to see that's going to happen is just meet all the people, regroup with everyone from last year, and plus add a few more, right? So that's gonna be fun. But one thing I want to see, like off the wall things, right? They could acquire somebody. They could do something crazy, like say we brought the Epic Store to Xbox. right? Something insane like that. That would be awesome, right? Like totally changing the whole gaming landscape. There were rumors of potentially Valve, right? Like something like that would just like totally change what's happening in the gaming world, right? So that's the kind of thing I'm looking at. Like, well, that would be crazy, right? Outside of that, like all the stuff that we already have, it's fine, right? That I'm kind of expecting. As far as like the start and finish of the showcase, their general pattern is update on stuff you know about, right? So that's going to be the start. I guess would be a State of Decay or a Perfect Dark could start. Gears is something we're not supposed to know about. Doom is something we're not supposed to know about. But we got all these leaks, right? So it's supposed to end. Those would be the finale, right? Before we get into the direct.
This is interesting because like this showcase season for Xbox, it's not that there's leaks all the time, right? But this one leaked earlier for some of the stuff than we've ever seen before. Because like Doom was leaked pretty early. Gears from Tom Warren like happened like a month ago, saying that Gears was going to be there in some form or fashion, and usually don't count out what Tom Warren says, So we're expecting Gears, we're expecting Doom, and then that's just like what we know about. Then there was more potential leaks yesterday. So this is an interesting showcase for Xbox because I think people have known what's going to be there for a while because they've been working on this showcase for so long. They even said themselves they've been putting this together for 6 months.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Ray O in the chat was saying open with an Avowed game that's coming in 2022, or open with Avowed because it's a game coming in 2024. Sorry, I misspoke on that one. I like the idea of opening with Avowed because I'm kind of on record as saying I was really unimpressed with Avowed. I actually saw that and I was very disappointed. And all the criticisms that I levied at it, the lack of impact, the combat looked weak. It didn't look like it was a productive kind of combat loop. They seem to address in like the days after, hey, this was just a mock-up. Hey, we're working on these animations where we're doing this. And everybody else around me seemed to be very high on what Avowed was. So if indeed that was a tech demo of what Avowed was supposed to be, and they have refined it and it's looking better, I think you absolutely must show that off. And so to that extent, yes, I agree. That makes good sense.
They said they moved it to Unreal 5 also, I think
it was Jez. Did Jez report that?
Jez said that.
Right?
I don't like this. Like, I don't understand. For one thing, I don't understand a lot of the criticism about and not just from you, but from some. This is from a lot of people. But like, for me, it was like an Obsidian kind of Western RPG kind of game, and that's kind of what I always had expected, So when I saw a lot of the stuff, it kind of fell into, for me, a lot of times that like Xbox trap of like not moving the needle or pushing things forward. But the interesting thing was, if we go back to like Outer Worlds, which was another Obsidian Western RPG, right? Kind of has a similar art style, similar feeling of movement, all those kind of things. The only difference is that one has guns, right? But like none of that back then, that conversation existed about Outer Worlds. It was mostly just like, wow, look what they created. And it's similar color scheme, graphics, everything like that. But now Obsidian's an Xbox franchise, like Obsidian's an Xbox studio. So I feel like just inherently in the back of our minds and with a lot of people, because they're first party, it's like raised this like expectation of pushing things forward so much, but it's kind of also against what Xbox is doing when they're saying they're allowing the studios to create what they want as well. So it's just an interesting thing. It's like, for me, it was a catch-22.
Well, and I'll interrupt briefly. You're talking about having more of the same. And again, forgive me for interrupting, but like Hellblade was just that. It was more Hellblade at a better fidelity, looked better, sounded better, acted better, but it was still more of that experience. And this time, that seemed to be a detriment because it was an exclusive first party title, whereas last time it didn't get nearly that amount of flack. And so that is
That's my point with Avowed, right? Like, and I feel like that's kind of happening and has been happening with Avowed ever since it was shown for the first time. But if you actually, like, if you watch the trailers, like in 4K, and like, okay, there's a lot of detail there. Like, it's a good color scheme. It plays at what it looks like a typical old school style Western RPG, right? And but expectations, I think it's a catch-22 because your Xbox first party studio, those studios now have like these different levels of expectations to do huge, big, massive things and be like system sellers, right?
Why is that?
Like, I don't know, because it goes against everything that they said, right?
Is Double Fine gonna suddenly make a AAA banger? Like, no, they're a small team. I don't expect them to do that. But somehow, like, let's put it on the other side. Housemarque. Do we expect Housemarque to make something the equivalent of Last of Us?
No,
like I don't expect that.
I think that's the thing, though, is that I want one game like that. I don't want my whole slate, because I think a lot of you have the Sony sameness problem. Like, a lot of the games are very similar. I want a good third-person immersive action title akin to God of War, but I only want one. And the rest of them I want doing whatever. But I think that's the thing, is that Xbox's primary rival in the console space is PlayStation, and that's what sells their systems. And so I think that's why. But it's not a fair. It doesn't matter, except in these online social spaces like the ones we inhabit.
Exactly.
That's the
thing. Right? Like,
it's perception's reality, right? So that's the catch-22.
And it's a reality in a very small Twitter space, right? Yes. Because the reality of gaming, I like barely touch PlayStation games because they're mostly one and dones. But Grounded, I've spent several hundred hours in. Starfield, I've spent several hundred hours in.
Right.
Halo Infinite, I can't even tell you how many hours I've spent in that. Right. I could go on, right? Their games just last. Minecraft is like, how long? It just keeps going. I don't play it, but it's the most sold game, period. Right? Like, you just look at the equivalents. Look, PlayStation wants what Xbox already has.
Yeah.
PlayStation doesn't have what Xbox already has, and they're trying to go out with these games as a service things, and that's why the last showcase before it failed, because that's all they're showing is games as a service. They're pivoting away from those large AAA games, and we're expecting Microsoft to pivot to it. And it's like, well, why? I think, like, I liked what I saw with the. I like artsy games. I don't need it to look perfect. They don't all have to look like Hellblade does. I don't know. Like, to me, like, Hellblade is what it is, and I don't expect it to be more. But somehow this is right. There is an expectation that because it's Microsoft, that everybody should be working on something that's going to be 400 hours long and is going to be the next thing that's going to destroy God of War.
Or my favorite thing, Hargate, is does it move the needle? Does it move the needle though? And I'm like, what needle?
I've said that. Now I'm embarrassed. I've said that about, because I asked that question about Gears 3 months ago.
But you're just reflecting on what the world is like, and it's like, is this accurate? Should we does Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom move the needle, or is it just a good game? And like, at some point, we just have to say it's good. I don't care. It's good. Like, Mario Wonder doesn't have to look stunning in like ray tracing, and it's a good game. That's all it is. It's a good game. It's fun to play, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Right, that's what matters. And like, I find that there's a lot of that pressure on Xbox to do something that we didn't want them to do to begin with. They don't, if you go buy a studio like inXile, do you have them then say, you know what, you need to make something like Naughty Dog or like Sony Santa Monica? It's like, but we're inXile. We don't do that. Right? Like,
gotcha.
You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. But on the flip side, they bought Bethesda. Bethesda should be able to give you those games, right? So fair enough. You got Arcane.
I think they were banking on that, and
right.
But Harjit, I think they were banking on that, and then you got your Redfall Starfield, and neither launched at the hopes and dreams of what you would think. Like, when you think Bethesda, Redfall, and Starfield at launch,
Redfall was definitely a fail.
yeah. And it's kind of a bummer was that last update
hit or miss.
was so good.
I don't know.
Starfield hit for me. I loved it.
I loved it. It was great.
People wanted it to be Elder Scrolls. after Elder Scrolls has had 10 years of updates.
I'm like,
Fallout has had 10 years of updates.
People wanted it to be No Man's Sky. People wanted it to be
I'm like, why are we comparing?
Cyberpunk? So people
just
wanted
let it be event or Starfield.
Yeah, just let it be the game it's supposed to be, right? But this is always the thing, right? I don't know, whatever. This is so there's always going to be the comparisons, and I just find that very frustrating. When is it going to be good enough? And like, when can Xbox say that's a win? To me, Hellblade's a win, but it isn't apparently.
Well, they're like judged on a different scale than other games are. That's the frustrating thing for me is like, because if you were to have taken Hellblade out of the equation, right, of Microsoft's portfolio, right, that same game comes out from Ninja Theory after all these years, has not really producing a big game or whatever. And that same game comes out, like a lot of these same journalists or whatever that were saying, I don't know why this game exists or all this kind of stuff. We'd be like,
yeah,
it's important that this game exists, because like literally you had the same kind of sentiment from two different, from the same journalists with the opposite perspective from Hellblade 1 to Hellblade 2. They were saying before, oh, it's so important. This game is so important for the industry, and it's so important that games like this exist and these studios can create experiences like this. Now Hellblade 2 comes out, and they've completely changed their perspective from some of the same exact journalists that wrote this stuff on social media before. And now they're saying like, I don't know why Microsoft is investing in this studio. I don't know why they're doing this, but I don't know why they even make this game now, because what does it do for Xbox? What does it do for this? And it's like, it's a video game that they made similar to what they made before, and it's what it like.
I'll die on the hill.
Stand like what people expect.
I will die on the hill that Hellblade 2 is amazing. I loved
it.
Hellblade 2.
It's good.
I thought Melina Juergens just did an incredible job as Senua. I thought the sound design was incredible. The visuals were better than the initial trailers that we got. I loved it. Part of me wants a God of War. I think I mentioned this not too long ago. I want a God of War game. Sure, I want that. But like, that's not what Hellblade 2 set out to do. And everything it set out to do, to me, spoke the words masterpiece. Yes, Matt, Mo in chat. I believe it's a masterpiece. Yes, I do.
Yeah, it was good, man. And like, but look, I also want to point out, we're talking about fringes. When you look at the actual reviews, a lot of them gave it 9s and 10s. A lot of the reviewers, the critics, like the media level, a lot of them gave it 9s and 10s. It's the majority. The minority gave it those like lower scores. And yeah, you can talk about the fringes. Some people are just gonna hate, just whatever. And some people just really didn't like it. That's fair. That some people just really didn't like it. So, but I think overall it did well enough, right? And it landed where I expected it to, like low 80s. Like that was kind of where I expected it to land. So it's still good. It's just exactly like maybe a point off from where the first one was. So it's not like it's far off. So it's okay. I still think it has potential to be nominated for Game of the Year, depending on what else comes out, right? So we'll see. But like, yeah, I still think it's a good game, but I hate the expectation game that we keep putting on everything that Microsoft does. And it's like, well, no, I want them to be able to breathe and put in smaller games. Pentiment is fantastic. And thankfully, the people who bothered to rate it rated it well, because they're like, I like this kind of game, I'm going to rate it. And it was fantastic for what it did. But it's not for everybody. And that's okay. That's okay. It's a small team making a game for those kind of players. So
yeah, the incredible MJ Dark, who, by the way, in my chat, I'm so honored to see that is a step up for me. I've arrived, guys, for MJ Dark to be in my chat. I think there is some deep story narratives, and I love that Hellblade and Hellblade 2 was more of what I wanted, a game that Ninja Theory wanted to originally make. I agree. I think it was cool to see that team execute on their vision. I know some people didn't like it, but I'm okay with somebody who doesn't like a game if they can articulate well and it's logical. I'm there for that. Hey, if you guys are enjoying the show, please click like, share on your socials. Obviously, Let's Talk is a newer thing for me, and kind of coincidentally, Harjeet's hanging out with me, and so is Matt. This is kind of neat, filling in for the old web Dave. So I appreciate you. Drop your questions in chat as well, guys. I see Bison has arrived. Nisa's jumping in with Hogue did not like Hellblade. Yeah, Hogue's tastes are interesting. Sometimes I'm right with him, sometimes I'm way off, but that's the nature of games. That's the nature of games.
Did we get yours? Luke? Your one thing that you would love to see? Whatever.
My one thing that I would love to see. You ask me on a different day, I'm going to answer it differently. Today, I know that Cerebon kind of reactivated a version or variant of the backward compatibility program. And I don't know what that actually means, right? Like on paper, that could mean anything. But I choose to interpret it as we now own Activision Blizzard. We've got a lot of games stuck in IP hell. Maybe we can bring them forward. And so does that mean we suddenly some of these old games are back compat? Because I would love to see the Spider-Man games or Wolverine Origins or whatnot made available once again.
Yep.
Right. Yep. Does that mean that like suddenly there's an emulator on your Xbox Series X that plays old discs? Maybe like that's a pie in the sky thing. Right. But I think I would like to see some of those games that we've lost to IP time make their way back. That would be a pie in the sky element for me. And so I guess that's my answer today. Ask me in 2 days. I'm going to give you a different one.
A different one. Yeah.
But the thing I keep going back to, and this goes for anybody watching, what I really, really want a week from now for us to be able to say, because a week from now, I'll be home. We'll be able to be on these shows together again. I want us to say that was a great showcase. We had a great time and people are excited for the Xbox brand. If that's the case, then I'm happy because I want people to be excited for Xbox and not nitpicking Hellblade and Hi-Fi Rush and Halo apart, like just enjoying. And so I hope that we are able to find that.
Hi-Fi is one of those few that actually just got it to do, right? It did not get piled on. Thank God. It like came out, shadow dropped, and it got like almost universal critical like praise. Like it was one of those few from Microsoft that actually just went through and everybody seemed to just love it.
Yeah. And
oddly, God, there was one, right?
And then we talked about like stepping on rakes like a week later or less than a week later. Matt Booty, unfortunately, like it had to be a left-hand, right-hand thing because Matt Booty is not a dumb human being. But to say we want award-winning smaller titles and then to have that had to be a left-hand, right-hand out of context town hall moment, or he just missed the mark. But it paired poorly with I think Sarah Bond having a rough showing on the Bloomberg thing. And Sarah Bond is an articulate, brilliant, capable.
And you could tell from what she was saying, right? You could tell her she is able to talk, but it was all corporate speak.
I think Matt Booty was probably trying to reinforce that they're still interested in making those games, right? Because that goes along with Phil's vision all along. And then the message of closing those studios, for me, I think Matt's out there trying to say, we want to make these kind of games like to the people that are out there, but it's just bad. I don't think it's the time to talk about that. Like, especially, and it's not just, it wasn't just, Tango, Arcane Austin also in their history had made award-winning games before Redfall, right? So like those are the kind of studios that typically make those kind of games, right?
If you're gonna have an award-winning studio, award-winning game, it can't have a 5-year development cycle, which is 5 years of money invested, a very short campaign, $30 launch price point, not moving Game Pass numbers, and there's little return on investment. I think that's the problem.
You're describing Hellblade 2, except for the price point, $50.
That's the fear. That's the fear, right? Because I want more Tangos, I want more Hellblades, I want more Hi-Fis, and I think that's what he was trying to say.
So I think overall, honestly, why they closed those studios had nothing to do with the pre-existing return on investment from their games. I don't think it had anything to do with the success that they saw from those studios or anything like that. I think it had everything to do with one thing. They're looking at getting a little bit more streamlined as far as the studios because they just acquired ABK, and they were looking at trying to streamline ZeniMax Bethesda a little bit as part of this whole process with the closures and the layoffs and all this kind of stuff that they've been doing. And it came down to simple math. Who's the furthest away from giving us another return? And I think if you look at Arcane Austin, what they were doing is just still working on Redfall updates. They had been making pitches on games potentially, but their next game was probably going to be several years away. And then you also look at Ninja Theory, or not Ninja Theory, but Tango Gameworks. They had just launched Ghostwire Tokyo. Then the next year, they had just launched Hi-Fi Rush, and they were in the middle of pitching phase of potentially early pre-production on a couple things that were going to be, again, several years away. And if they look at the ZeniMax Bethesda pipeline across the studios, okay, so all the moves they made seemingly were for the perspective of, well, if we're cutting things, we're going to cut what's the furthest away from giving us a return. And I don't think it had anything to do with personnel. I don't think it had anything to do with quality. I don't think it had anything to do with how well their games did in the past. That being said, if they were home runs and like just completely like sold 20, 30 million copies or something crazy like that, obviously they're not going to move on from those. But with those kind of art house teams or these ones that aren't moving the needle or whatever, all those kind of perspectives, right? Yeah. They, out of all those studios, they made the decision, okay, well, these ones we can afford to let go, and because they're not going to give us anything for a long time. So it was just a cutthroat, cold, calculated decision. And it doesn't look good on paper, doesn't sound good. There's no way for Sarah Bond on stage to be like, well, we had to make some cuts,
right?
And so it doesn't, there's no real good answer there other than it's just money, guys, and the pressure and being forced to make difficult decisions. And what it comes down to, if you do the math and look at what they just released, and then when their next games are coming out, that's what it seems like was the process there. And that's kind of what Schreier seemingly had reported on also. But everybody's been focused for the most part on, oh, those studios didn't sell well enough, or those studios didn't do this well enough, or that this or that. And I feel like it's really not about it. And maybe that's what Matt Booty is trying to get across there, is that, hey, this is still their vision. Much like everybody thought they were going to not put Call of Duty games in ABK because they're in such financial distress and they have to, or they're going to be making horrible decisions by doing that and stuff. They're just sticking to their vision still, despite doing something that seems so contrary to it.
Right.
So I'll expand on that a little bit. Since those things closed, there's been a little bit of sort of behind the scenes rumors about what's been happening, right? So Arcane, you can kind of like, so okay, first take, was it what was it, Alpha Dog? I think that was the small one, right?
Yeah, and
that
was
the one
that was the mobile studio, right?
Yeah, so it was 25 people making Mighty Doom. I think that was the game.
Yep.
Didn't really do well enough, I guess. But you have to put that in context. 25 people doing mobile versus King. You just bought them. King, obviously, literally the king of mobile games. So you're like, okay, do we really need this team? Is it really providing enough benefit? Probably not. So, and I don't think anybody lamented, Alpha Dog going away. It sucks for those developers, absolutely. But there's also opportunity to say, hey, some of those developers, hey, do you just want to like move into King, which probably happened. I'm sure some of those developers went to King, and otherwise, like, find something else, fine, whatever, right? But the next one's Arcane, right? Like you mentioned, it might be far away. Here's the problem, right? The team that made those games that were critically good left because they swapped them out for people that can make a multiplayer game. And that put them in a position where it's like, well, A, that multiplayer sucked. And then B, we want you to go back to the formula you had, except those people are gone. So what are we going to do with you? Right? So Arcane itself still exists. It's just Arcane Lyon now, right? This was an expansion, right? They had multiple Arcanes. This is one of their studios, and they were making parts of the games, and they were making some primary games. And they ultimately had to look at, well, if we have, say, 80 people that are good and we have to hire another 200 to make a good AAA game, that's going to, A, take time, and B, we're not going to get anything for a while. Is there value in this or not? Because we also hear like some of those people were moved over to other teams, right? So they aren't still working with.
Is Harvey Smith still there, or did he leave?
I don't know. I don't know if he's gone.
Because I've been trying to find this out, and like on his Twitter, it almost seems like he's still there. But like,
yeah, and they might just be supporting Lyon, and that's fine, right? It's like, hey, we're not doing your primary game. We're just going to add you to make Blade. Oh, okay, that's not the end of the world, right? There was a fourth studio which was basically working on ESO, but was tentatively doing its own thing. And they're like, yeah, whatever. You're just going to go work on ESO. Like lock, stock, and barrel. We're not firing anybody. You're just working on ESO. Good. Fair. So Arcane, I'll give you two things. First, they made a massive decision to do something stupid, which was to put out a game they knew was not going to go anywhere, right? Because they could have at any point, that management team could have gone up to Xbox and said, I don't think we're ready. And like, this game isn't like looking good yet. And it may never be good. You need to like help us or something. They never did, right? They just went forward and said, hey, it's okay. I don't think that's a good thing to do from a management perspective, especially when you just got acquired. Now you're throwing that on Phil, right? Because he had to take the sword for that, right? He had to take it, and he did. He did take that, right? But that's going to leave a sour taste in his mouth, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right? Not to mention, you're not just Phil. It's not just Xbox. You're Microsoft. So does Satya have to take that sour pill, right? It's his company that did that, right? So at some point, that's going to piss people off, right? You didn't say anything. You could have said something. I'm sure if Word had problems and we're like launching and like it's not functional, they'd want to know before you put it out there.
Yeah, it almost
right?
reminds me of like Chris Lee, what happened with Halo, where they just kept saying everything's good.
You just don't
look over here, and then all of a sudden
it's like, oh, this game isn't anywhere near ready. What the heck is going on?
What's going on? Yeah,
and so part of it is going to be that, right? And okay, they're not retaliatory, but look, you can't do those kind of things, right? It's massive PR headaches. So I think almost everybody gives Arcane Austin and say like, all right, I get it. Like you massively failed there, bud. So you had that. But then just like you were saying, Matt, there's financials to this, right? It's going to take a long time to retrofit that studio back to the way it used to be. If you can even get that magic back, right? Are you going to make anything useful? We don't know. So if we just take the core team that's good, that's left, and say, we're assigning you to Lyon, you just happen to sit in Texas. Okay, cool. Just keep working for whatever they're doing. Fine. We get we keep the talent. We make another studio get a little bit more talent available to them, and they can finish their game faster. That's good, right? So now you go to Tango. So what we're hearing is that a smaller part of that team worked on Hi-Fi, got that through. But since the pandemic, they didn't really do anything with the rest of them. And then you had the main head guy there, Shinji, leave, right? You might have had other talent leave. And so and they're going, okay, we have no way to do anything in Japan. We're not there, right? So who's going to go fix that studio, right? Your main lead for that studio left. That was the excitement, right? You had that guy. Right. So it's like, well, but now we don't. Okay, cool. So now what the head of that is a white dude? Was it the whole point to have a Japanese studio? So like you have to look at those things and say, well, we're not really doing what we wanted to do here. What the heck is going on? And you're telling me you want to make a game that might come out like 8 years from now? And we're going to spend top dollar for the most expensive city in the world. Why? Like, what are we getting out of this? Right. Your next game that they pitched was Hi-Fi Rush, 2, which is a small game. So you're telling me you want to have this massive studio now do that? What's the other game? What's next? So we're hearing this kind of, unfortunately, this is what happens, right? Like they didn't have anything else in the works, and it would have taken a long time to get anywhere.
That's the silver lining for Ninja Theory, I think, right? Is that they have other projects.
Right. Well, plus the main guy that would have driven your work outside of Hi-Fi left. So there is a little bit of that. It's still concerning to me, right? It's still concerning to me. But I'm starting to think like maybe this was just like you're saying, Matt, that like if I look at Bethesda as a division and say, where am I making money and where am I draining money? And you look at these areas and you're like, is it worth it? Is it worth it to keep an Arcane Austin team up that doesn't exist that I have to go hire? Or do I just say, you know what, go support the Arcane Lyon team, get Blade out there, and then you guys can all work on the next game. We're fine with that, right? And that way we're not bleeding here. You can just make it. So that might have been that decision. And then you look at Tango and it's like, you want to make a game that didn't sell, that we put it even on other platforms that didn't sell, and now you're telling me that that's all you're going to do? Because I'm sure if it was Shinji, they're like, yes, make whatever you want, because now we got a name attached to it. That's just the way it is, right? But they don't have that anymore, right? So like you have to just look at that and say, all right, well, okay, we're going to bleed money here. Is it going to bring in customers? We don't know, right? We tried it with Hi-Fi. It didn't go anywhere. It's unfortunate, but it didn't go anywhere, right? And all of our concern is now what happens to a Double Fine, right? What happens to a Ninja Theory?
I think,
right?
For me, I think those studios are going to be more safe, right? Because Double Fine can do multiple projects, smaller games,
because they're not saying make a AAA game. They're saying stay small. We're going to fund you to stay small and make the games you make because now the risk is low, right? Hellblade was a 50 million project, not a 200 million project, right? So you can sustain that kind of thing, right? You can, put like 10 million a year, whatever. Okay, fine. We can sustain that. That's fair, right? You put, it's about the same size, 60-ish, 70 people for Double Fine. Cool. They can sustain their projects, right? Compulsion wanted more people and they're like, nah, we like you at the size you are. Why? Because South of Midnight may not move numbers. Probably won't, right? It's probably not going to
move the needle.
Move the needle, or it's really numbers. Right? It's a numbers game, right? It's adding, like, move the needle might be more of a critical success thing, right? It's more of a how you are perceived. What they're looking for is, did you move the numbers for Game Pass, or did you move the numbers for console, right? Those are the things they're looking for from a financial return perspective. And I don't think South of Midnight's going to be your big, here, we're going to get 10 million more subscribers. I just don't see it that way, right? And I don't think they see it that way. But that's okay, as long as the studio is small and the budget is good enough to say we can sustain that and give you those kind of games, right? And I think that's where it needs to be, right? There's got to be a little threading of the needle here, right? And I think that's where they are. Again, this is all speculation and based on some rumor. It's not based on actual facts. Don't know anything actual, but just saying that these are the kind of things that might happen in the background. So it's not like they don't want those small games. They just want those small games from smaller development teams so that they can say, let's go ahead and do a Grounded from a 10 people team. Fair enough. We're good with that. It hits, great. It doesn't, who cares? Right? It didn't cost us an arm and a leg, right? Whereas, hey, budget for Tango might have been, let's say for the next game, $250 million, right? And like $250 million, yikes. What am I getting for that? A game that didn't sell, didn't move the numbers for Game Pass? I don't know, man. So, and this is kind of where the financial headaches come in, and the way that Sarah was trying to say it, but that's really what they meant is like, well, every game it's a different thing.
Right.
Yeah. This one costs too much. That's really all they're saying. And that one doesn't cost that much. So I think that's the way it is. Right. And you look at the teams that they have from the Xbox Game Studios, unless you're Mojang, right? That one's big and it should be because it's the freaking biggest game. Right. So fine. The other ones are smaller. They try to keep them lean. Right. So you have Coalition, you have 343. They're making the big live games. Fine. You got Turn 10, which is still kind of lean, but they make a live game. Playground's got multiple teams, but everything they do, they try to keep that in that realm. I think that's kind of what's going on. So hopefully they don't close anymore, because I'm concerned about that a lot as well, right? COD going into Game Pass, does that mean that other studios have to kind of get out of the way? Right? I hope not, right? I don't want that. And that's been a fear ever since they shut down Tango. But just thinking it through, it's like Mav, right? Like, is this more about like just the position they're in and how do you handle that? That just might not have been a way for them to fit. And that just kind of unfortunately meant that they had to be closed. Long-winded answer, but
yeah, you kept going. I was like, man, this guy has got it. He is passionate here. Well, boys, I'm gonna thank you guys for calling in. I'm gonna have you plug your stuff and then exit you guys out, and then I'm gonna talk to the chat for a little bit more and then peace out myself, guys. Harji, let people know where they can find you. Let them know what that shop.us is up there, because I think it's pretty darn cool what you've accomplished with that. Just where you're headed this week.
Yeah, so you can catch me on just about every podcast.
It's true.
It's pretty much the way it goes. But yeah, I did write a book. It's called Emergence. It's right up there. And then you can go to this URL, and if you want to pick it up, it's got links to the Barnes & Noble, to Amazon, whatnot. Or if you want a signed copy, there's bundles to get a signed copy. You can go ahead and order that there. And then you can subscribe to my channel, Hargi-chan1, and I will be dropping content there, and you can check that out. I'll be on tomorrow on Boom's channel, Double Barrel Gaming, on Primetime Gaming at 7 o'clock US Eastern Time. And then I'll be flying out, like, Luke will be flying out. Unfortunately, Mav won't be, but we'll be going out to LA. We'll be checking out the showcases. So my next probably will be next Wednesday, though it may be something in between here and there. We'll see. But outside of that, it's probably going to be next Wednesday when we get back, and then we'll start the normal routine of being on every podcast.
There you go. I'm honored you joined me today, man. Thank you. Mav, let people know where to find you, my friend.
Well, you won't find me in LA, unfortunately. Like you guys keep reminding me. Thank you for that. But you will find me over on Fun Speculation, because we will be co-streaming everything. This week we have multiple shows coming up. So Thursday, PM in the PM, like regular, with Pong Soul and I at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But then Friday is when it all starts with Summer Game Fest. We're going to be co-streaming that. So come hang out for our co-stream there. Maybe you'll spot Hargeet and Luke in the audience. That'd be fun. Maybe we'll be sitting next to each other. It could be a surprise. And then the rest of the shows, I think Devolver Digital's show that is that day too. So we'll be covering all of those. Saturday, Future Game Show. We're going to be doing co-stream for that and some of the other smaller shows. And then also on Sunday is the big day. We're going to have tons of stuff all day, Xbox show, all that other kind of stuff. And then on Monday, we're still not done because there's Ubisoft Forward on Monday. So we'll be co-streaming that as well. And then FSP Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, it's awesome to hop on here, dude. It's cool to see you doing live stuff. Thanks. I gotta say, you and Logan do a great job on your shows, and just keep up all the amazing work, man, because absolutely killing it.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you.
Have a good one. Talk to your chat, and watching.
Will do. Appreciate you both. Have a good one, guys.
See ya.
Oh man, how cool was that to have those two guys come in and hang out with us? That was awesome. To see, MJ Dark in the chat. I saw Lethal Migraine and Gogo Pole having a good old time. Kian in the house. Good to see you, Kian. Really cool to see those two guys because they are staples, I think, in your Xbox content creation list, and pretty darn neat for sure. But yeah, I'm thinking about 2 days from now being on a plane. Pretty excited. I will tell you, a third of my costs for the travel were paid for by patrons and channel members. So if you are a channel member or a patron and you're listening to this, thank you so much. If you've ever shared out XEP, thank you so much, because I never thought I'd get to do this. I started XEP in 2019 after splitting off from the Xbox Drive, which was supported by Xbox Canada. And then, of course, I'm not in Canada. And so all that support went away. So to be rebuilding, and then now I'm getting to go to the Xbox showcase. I'll be in the room for the Xbox showcase. Incredible, right? I'll be in the room at Summer Game Fest. I actually bought 2 tickets because I thought Ainsley needed one. So now I got a blank seat next to me. They'll probably fill it with some seat filler person. But I'm really excited to go to Summer Game Fest. I'll be in the room for that. Let me tell you my schedule, guys. Hey, thank you, Harjeet, for becoming a channel member. Look at that. And the GOAT. There you go. Thank you, Harjeet. So I will say my schedule is arrive Thursday night. I might be, if the timing works out, I'll get to go out to dinner and see some of the cool Xbox content creators that you're used to in the spaces, the people that are in LA. Then I'll be going to Summer Game Fest on Friday. I don't have anything Friday after Summer Game Fest, so we might pop over to IGN Live, which I have tickets to. Probably just going to read the room on that one. How am I feeling after travel, being kind of bombarded with sensory? We know I've long since talked about how I get overwhelmed. So do I need a break, or can I go hang out with more people? And then Saturday morning through mid-afternoon, I'm in game demos, behind closed door stuff, talking with developers, checking out games. Some games you've heard of, some games you haven't. I don't think, and I don't actually know if they're embargoed or I'm allowed to say which ones, but some games some you don't, right? I'm excited to see that one space game made by Ubisoft that's coming out this year. I'll see that on Sunday. Sunday evening, because on Sunday we've got the Xbox showcase, not at the same location as before, but I'm going to the Xbox showcase again. Super excited about that. Cannot tell you, just to be in the room is crazy. I won't be able to see the IGN Live interview with Phil, but I'm okay with it because I'll be in the room for the Xbox showcase. So excited for that one. That night I see Star Wars, and then there's a couple other things, but then I fly back. On Monday, kind of in the morning time Monday. And I think that's a long enough trip for me. I'm not built for 10-day excursions. I saw Jez is out there still. I'm not built for all that, but I am excited to go see everybody, kind of consume this event and see it. And so again, I thank you guys if you are supporting XEP as a patron or a channel member, because it really does mean a lot. There's a good chance, Nerd Chat saying, look for me on camera. There's a good chance you see me at Summer Game Fest based on where my tickets are. I picked a ticket where I have an aisle, like I can put my feet out. And so that means they're going to be rushing cameras across at various points. So there's a good chance you see me at Summer Game Fest for sure. For sure. MJ Dark saying, enjoy LA. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited. I can't say enough for how stoked I am to just see the vibe of the community, like to not the community like our chat, but the content creator community, the media community, the enthusiast media community, to kind of figure out like what everyone's about in person versus, I guess you would say, separately from that, right? Like, how tall is Ainsley Bowden, right? Like, how is his voice really that high pitched and squeaky? We'll never know. So, like, I'm excited to see that kind of stuff for sure. It should be fun. Do I anticipate people asking me for an autograph? It's not every day they meet the Vault Boy in person. Shout out. I don't know, Suddy, if you're watching from your hospital room, I have this right here. Here you go. See? No difference. I do have a shirt for one or two people. I had to custom make shirts. Side note, somebody was asking me about merch for shirts. They would be too expensive for me to do right now. It'd be like a $30 t-shirt. And I don't feel good making anybody pay $30 because right now the merch for XEP is pretty dope. It's like hats and cups and wallets and stuff. My favorite is the like metal wallet. These things are cool, but that money goes towards one of the patrons, Ziba Games, and I'm fine with that because I don't do any work for it. I just gave him some assets and said go for it. So there you go. Decado in the house saying, hey chat, hey Luke, good to see you. Hope you're doing well, friend. We're just we've already kind of had a couple conversations. We're just chilling, for sure. Matt Valdez in the house. Matt, I haven't seen you in a live show in a bit. It's good to see you, buddy. Says Indy is going to be Luke's game of show. I'm calling it now. Let me and pizza emoji. God, that Little Caesars. Oh, it's bad. I will tell you right now, I truly want Indy to succeed. I just don't see it happening, but I want it to, right? I want it to. I'm not rooting against it. At all. I really want Indiana Jones to be amazing. I just don't think people care about Indiana Jones now. Matt Kennedy, who's not here watching live, was talking to one of the live chats I was in and talking about how his students just don't even know what Indiana Jones is. They don't even know what Summer Game Fest is. They don't even know there's a COD Direct. And so hopefully people catch on. Nisa Hauer saying, if you talk to any of the Xbox people, talk to them about a better cloud experience, a better cloud experience. That's a great thing. I know I will see some of those people. I don't know that any of those things are on the record. No problem typing on your phone, Nisa. I just appreciate you being here and being supportive. I know that they were crushing it cloud-wise, and they had slowed down in 2023 on cloud because they needed to make more units to sell. And now they're putting stuff back into server racks because cloud gaming didn't grow quite as quickly as they were hoping to. So yeah, that's a fair question to ask. I really like xCloud. I think honestly, cloud gaming and xCloud will catch on more when you can play non-Xbox Game Pass games on your cloud systems, or like maybe you can play everything in your library if you're a Game Pass member, even if the game isn't in Game Pass or something, because people need to want to play what they want to play, you know. Lethal saying T-Mobile Tuesday app today, you can get a disgusting Little Caesars pizza for $2, and it's $2 too much still. Lethal, one thing I can tell from you being in the chat today is that you are a passionate individual. Angry, happy, all that stuff. You know what you like, you know what you don't. You and I have never been in more agreement than Little Caesars being terrible. But you see what I had to do for our channel members, because they were all about Little Caesars, and it's largely X-Bacon Gaming's fault. I had to have Little Caesars emotes for our channel members. It's crazy. It's worse than the double down emotes. There you go. So take that for what you will. Suddy, are you still in the chat? My buddy Suddy, we canceled a trip. We canceled a trip to go ride roller coasters and stuff this summer because he had to get 2 new organs. But he went through surgery and he's doing well, and I'm really happy that he's doing well. We got to talk to him last night. It was pretty great. Bacon, don't put that on me. Yep. Hometown Hero, my best friend in the chat, saying that's disrespectful to the double down. I swear to God, I will eat the double down on camera when it comes back. I will eat it. I promise. I owe patrons that video. If we get, this was a year or 2 years ago, I said, if we get to 30 patrons, yes, we got to 30 at the time. And then we've actually dropped below that on Patreon because people jumped over to the live element of channel memberships, which makes sense. But I owe that video and I will do it. I promise. Let's see. Nisa Hauer says she wants to play Hogwarts Legacy on her ROG Ally. I want a ROG Ally. I'll tell you that right now. It's just a matter of money. Like I saw that ROG X, like that thing looks incredibly cool. I think I like the look of it more than the Steam Deck. I want one. I am not spending $800, right? It took me 6 months of saving to go to LA. Like I'm a teacher, man. I don't have that kind of money. That's just not how it works. Big Mad Mo in the house saying that their pizza bites are fire. Mo, I love you, man, but come on, man. You can't be defending Little Caesars. To quote my students, the very cool ones, that is cap, bro. Let's see. Reading through the chat there. What did I want to comment on also? I am looking forward to whether or not Indy is the game of show for a lot of people, or if Gears steals it. Because Xbox has to save something in the hopper for Game Awards. They need something at Game Awards. What do you put at Game Awards? Because I would imagine, like Xbox has now, they now have, whether the games are multi-platform or not, they have a marketing timing issue because they got to talk about COD. They got to talk about Diablo Vessel of Hatred. They got to talk about Shattered Space for Starfield. They got to talk about Avowed. They got to talk about Indiana Jones. And I swear to goodness, there's one other game that's this year, and I keep forgetting it. But then Flight Sim is not what I'm counting. Aura History Untold, not what I'm counting. I was thinking about like November on. But I just there's a couple other things that Xbox has got to figure it out. Silkenet Towerborn, I think you're going to see very soon. I think you'll see Towerborn very soon. Cough, cough, hint, hint. Look at the title of the show. Gears at Game Awards. Now, Jose, I agree, but it was Khalif Adams that said that last week, and it made me like, yeah, now I'm on his side. Because prior to that, I was like, dude, Doom, Gears, and COD, yes, sir, let's go. Yeah, I'm looking at Xbox's 2025, and it's like, what do you got? Clockwork Revolution, South by Midnight, Gears of War, Doom. What else comes out? Attitude says Perfect Dark. Yo, real talk. I think Perfect Dark is your 2026 game, and I think it launches. I think Perfect Dark launches your new system. I think that's what happens there because that game just isn't ready. State of Decay. I don't know. Let's see. KHA knows his stuff. Yeah, Ka does know his stuff. Yeah, I said KHA. I usually read Ka as KAH. Maybe I'm crazy on that one. I would love to see Perfect Dark if it's ready, Addy, but I do not think it is, man. Real talk. Like, I don't think it is. Let's see. Imagine a Hollow Knight Silk Song Shadow Drop. Kian, I'm going to tell you, I do not think Silk Song is as big a deal as people want it to be. I think it's one of those, we keep asking for it, So it hasn't happened. But like once it drops, I don't think it's gonna explode in sales. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's what Hollow Knight does. So I think like real talk, if nobody knows what Summer Game Fest is outside of the content creator space, then nobody knows what Hollow Knight is, right? I don't like your mainstream games. People knew what Starfield was going to do. People know if there's a new God of War. People know about Call of Duty and Diablo. People don't know about much more unless you're in this space, right? They're just like, oh, cool game. Daddy D Wally wants Perfect Dark canceled. I don't know that I want it canceled, but like that, I have no confidence for it. I am so excited for like State of Decay 3, even though I know nothing, but I'm not excited for Perfect Dark. Hometown Hero says Perfect Dark equals StarCraft Ghost. I would love StarCraft Ghost to be a thing and be a name that's back in gaming because StarCraft is cool. It's a cool name. It's a cool franchise. I'd love for StarCraft to come back. Bison says, let's talk again on Monday. Either Bison knows something, saw a rumor, or he's just willing it into existence. Lethal Migraine says Gears 6, Halo, whatever, Forza Horizon 6 seem like launch games. I think if you have a Gears, Halo, Forza launch of a system, and that's your pillar, you've got a problem because I do not think that is fresh enough for Xbox. Everyone knows Gears, Forza, Halo. Let's see here. All right. I'm looking at a link that Nisa sent for the Xbox, or no, for the ROG Ally. ROG Allies are 400 now. But see, I don't even want to be a punk. Like, I don't have that, right? Like, I'm trying to afford my trip to LA and then my trip with Kev. Like, I just don't have that to spend. If there's new Xbox hardware, like I worked, just to give you context, and this isn't a woe is me thing, right? Like I eat every night. Like I'm okay. I'm just talking about like money's a lot towards gaming. My gaming income from like Patreon channel members offsets money I spend in gaming. And so I think of it like that. But I worked extra hours I took on a whole extra prep class teaching for months to pay for my trip to LA. So like I'm really cautious about buying new hardware, but I do want a ROG Ally. But like, do I want the old one at 400 or do I want the new one? I don't know. Good. It's a fair question. I agree with you, Luke, but that's how Xbox does things. Fair. Oh, Hometown is saying when he says Perfect Dark and StarCraft Ghost, bro is saying both games are dead. I don't think StarCraft is as dead as you think. Let's see. HK knows has sold 3 million copies in 2020. Nobody knows about it. What's HK? What's HK? Someone tell me. As I don't, top of my head, don't know. Launch games are not a thing though. Every time okay, fair enough. NetEase and Blizzard back in good graces. I wouldn't be surprised if StarCraft is back on the menu. I think StarCraft is back on the menu. I think you cancel games like Hi-Fi Rush and such, but then you green light bigger names like StarCraft. StarCraft would sell 1 million copies out the gate just because it's StarCraft. Silken at Hollow Knight, thank you. Yeah, I knew I was blanking on something. So every big title you released in the last year or two can be remastered for launch. Bison, I think that's a great strategy. Actually, I don't mind that strategy. I get bothered when we as gamers get mad at Sony for remastering when we would want remasters of the stuff that we would like. I get mad at Sony for remastering when they don't have other stuff in there. So like if we get remasters of games, whether they're new or old, and it's nestled in with other stuff that is fresh, I'm here for it. I just don't like when it just happens, you know. The old ROG with the Z1 without the Z1 Extreme chip is 350. Is that good? I just like mobile gaming, right? Like I plug my Backbone onto my Pixel 8 Pro and I have a blast. I enjoy it. It's that easy for me. So tell me, do I think there will be a handheld? Mo, I think your hardware announcements are you're getting a new controller. I think you're getting a new controller, and there's a good chance there is a good chance that you see the digital Series X, if not here, then at Game Awards. The digital Series X needs to be bundled with COD, and that's how you sell it. That's how you sell it. Hard to chat on a recumbent bike when it's an upper body day. I need to jump on the bike tonight, but I just didn't have it in me. And I think actually Logan is doing our community episode this evening. I think he's doing that at 7, so I might actually need to get off soon. Let's see. Which people could borrow one? Nisa, I get it. Speaking of borrowing, I am gonna give to a patron or channel member these Stealth 600 Gen 3s when I'm done reviewing them, because I have other headsets coming to review and I don't need another one in my house. So if you are interested in Stealth 600s, just keep your eye out on the channel, because after I'm done reviewing them, I am going to email them. I am going to mail them out to someone. So if you're a channel member or whatnot, and that's or a patron or whatever, just keep your eye out for my socials and I'll send that out. Bison says, what is your shadow drop prediction, Luke? I missed it. Towerborn. I think Towerborn is coming as your shadow drop for sure. I think that's the case. I don't know, but I feel like I know. Big Man Mo says COD needs to be combined with the Series S at 199. If I'm Xbox, I am bundling 3 months of Game Pass and I'm putting Call of Duty on the box. And every single Call of Duty Black Ops 6 trailer needs to have a picture of the consoles. Has to. An Elite 3 is on the menu. Your Elite 3 is on the menu. Yes. The question, I missed your question when you first asked it. When you say controller, do you think that the one that's leaked in the FTC docs or a new Elite? I think it's a new Elite. I think you call it Elite. You keep that name. It probably has haptics. If it doesn't have haptics here, then that's your launch controller for your next system. I think that's the reality. The only kicker with a new controller is they make a lot of money on those, but the more complex they get, the more expensive they are to make. And I just don't know how much money the design lab is making. I don't know. Flintlock will get a release date this week, I think. It's been in dev for a long time. Speaking of COD, I think he says in day one with Game Pass everywhere, you got to talk COD, Game Pass, and Xbox synonymously. They need to really oversell that, make Xbox the place for COD. All the old Call of Duties are in there, including Black Ops 1. Black Ops 6 will be there on day. Every ad needs to showcase Call of Duty as a franchise, Call of Duty is everything, and day one with Game Pass, and then have the box in the promotional items. And it needs to be on Saturday morning cartoons. It needs to be on Nickelodeon. It needs to be on anywhere that young kids are, because young kids do not know about this COD Direct. They do not know about Steam Next Fest. They don't know about Summer Game Fest. They don't know about any of this stuff. So you have to put it where they are. Make a TikTok, yo. Didn't get the Elite Series 2 after FGC leaks. You held off for that long. That's interesting. I love the Elite Series 2. But the bumpers on both Elites 1 and 2 are a little frustrating. They should have had haptics with the next one for beta purposes to get ready for the next console. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, Mo. That's fair. Can't argue that. Let's see. Nerd Chat is asking Kian which Razer one. Our boy Dan is loving his Scuff one, and I've thought about buying one, but if there's an Elite 3 coming, that's where I'm going. I've not heard. I know the Scuff is highly touted, and I know you're asking Kian, but I'm giving my take. I've heard the Scuff, a lot of good things about that one. I've also not heard, definitively about an Elite 3, but I'm interested in one for sure. I'm interested in one, to say the least. So take that. I think Razer does good stuff. I use a Razer camera. My keyboard, my mouse are the Halo versions of Razer, so I really like Razer. I'm not thrilled with Turtle Beach lately. We did a good review on the channel for Turtle Beach's stuff, for their one of their headsets that people seem to really like and Logan really likes. Not a headset, I'm sorry, a controller. I'm reviewing one of their headsets and I'm not thrilled by it. and it's not bad at all. It's like a great mid-range headset. But I have too many headsets, so I am gonna just give that one away, probably to a patron or whatever. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. I'd like to go see my wife. She's awesome. I like her. I think the channel is gonna go back live later this evening with Logan. I don't know if he's gonna do that live or pre-record it, or he's gonna do the community episode for our patrons for this month. So I hope you guys check it out. Hey, Attitude, that's amazing. I bought that controller after Logan's review. Very cool to hear. Very cool to hear. I love that. If you have not clicked like on the channel, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please consider it. I will be posting sporadically over the next week. Logan will run XEP proper come Saturday, I believe. I'm kind of giving him the keys and saying, grow as a creator and see how you like going live in the XCP platform. So I'm trusting him with my brand. And I do. So that should be fun and it's cool for me. But I will be in LA at Summer Game Fest, everywhere else. Shout out, by the way, to Daddy D Wally, who wasn't here today, but we had a great couple rounds of Warzone last night. It was very enjoyable. So shout out to them. Appreciate him. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. Thank you, Harjeet, for becoming a channel member. Thank you, everybody. Attitude, Nerd Chat, Hometown Hero. I saw Rick Davis and Clint and Bison and Bacon and Nisa Hauer. Suddy was in here. Gogo Pole. Big Mad Mo in here. Really appreciate all of you guys. Silent Cypher, appreciate you for lurking today. Have a fantastic rest of your week, everyone. Take care. I got to click the right thing. I always do that.